Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Tori. It's Tuesday, October 6, 2020. And we begin with basketball legend LeBron James making another slam dunk. This time, not on the hard court, but in the political arena. James and his voting rights organization, More Than a Vote, has helped recruit more than 10,000 people to volunteer at polling places on Election Day. That may not seem like a big deal, but there's a big shortage of poll workers due to the pandemic, especially in communities of color. And as a thank you, the NBA is hosting first-time poll workers recruited through James' campaign as virtual fans for tomorrow's NBA Finals game between the Miami Heat and the LA Lakers. Right now, the Lakers lead the series 2-1. The second largest U.S. movie theater chain has been hit hard, this time by James Bond. Already pummeled in the pandemic, Regal Theaters were banking on the highly anticipated 25th Bond thriller, No Time to Die, to draw people back in. But the film's release date has now been bumped from next month to April of 2021. As we've mentioned on KidNuz, other major studios have made similar decisions recently, including Marvel's Black Widow and Steven Spielberg's remake of West Side Story. With no new film releases on the horizon, Regal's owner announced it has no choice but to temporarily close all 671 of its theaters in Britain and the U.S. starting this Thursday. President Trump is now back at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. He left Walter Reed Medical Center yesterday evening, 3 days after being admitted with the coronavirus. Doctors say he will finish his treatment and recovery at the White House, which reportedly has its own medical unit, staffed with doctors and nurses, and, if needed, enough equipment to allow for surgery. First Lady Melania Trump will be there to greet him. That's where she's been quarantining. But his press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, won't be. She's the latest among the president's inner circle to test positive and will work remotely until she's healthy again. To L.A. now, where singer Lana Del Rey is taking heat for not properly covering up or keeping her distance. The 35-year-old wore a sparkly mesh mask when she surprised fans at a Barnes & Noble store to read from her new book of poetry. Her sister insisted Lana kept 6 feet away from people, but social media pictures showed her cheek to cheek, posing right next to some fans. Many posted comments begging her to be safe, and one saying, "I love Lana, but this is incredibly irresponsible. Girl, we're in the middle of a pandemic." What some describe as the coolest party in town may be happening near you tonight. The annual National Night Out celebration promoting police-community partnerships usually happens in August, but due to the pandemic, it's been moved to the first Tuesday in October to make sure crucial social distancing guidelines can be put in place. Millions of people take part each year across the country. Neighborhoods typically host block parties, parades, or cookouts, along with safety demonstrations, seminars, and youth events, all with the goal to bring police and families together under positive circumstances. A couple weeks ago, a 6-foot-tall dad borrowed his 8-year-old daughter's pink bike, but Wesley Hamnet had bigger plans than just a jaunt down the block. He biked from Glasgow, Scotland to Manchester, England, a 6-day, 200-mile adventure to raise money for charities and hospitals. But why the comically tiny ride? He wanted to do it as a laugh. But the journey wasn't all smiles. He went through 8 tires and had to scale a 1,300-foot summit. He wasn't sure if he or the $26 bike were going to make it. But according to Good News Network, he did admit going down the hill was scary but amazingly fun. Hamnet's GoFundMe page has raised nearly $11,000, and he's planning another longer ride on the same bike, 1,250 miles from Russia to England, in the spring. That's it for KidNuz. Now, the KidNuz quiz. What event is happening in neighborhoods all across the country tonight to promote community police partnerships? National Night Out. How many people has LeBron James recruited to work at Election Day polling places? Over 10,000. When will the new James Bond movie now be released? April 2021. How far did a British dad pedal on his 8-year-old daughter's tiny pink bike? $200 miles for charity. In One for the Road, lots of kids are smart, but then some are just crazy smart, like Caleb Johnson of Georgia. He's only 12, but he's already a sophomore in college studying aerospace engineering. His mom says she first realized her son was gifted when he began repeating speech at 4 weeks old. By 9 months, he could already read and sign more than 250 words in American Sign Language. Caleb will graduate with a bachelor's degree in 2 years. He hopes to continue his education at Georgia Tech and MIT and eventually get an internship working for Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla and SpaceX. Before we go, here's Kim with today's Kid News shout-outs.
Thanks, Tori. Our teacher salutes this morning go to Mrs. Young's fifth graders at Shawswick Elementary School in Bedford, Indiana, and Ms. Butler and Ms. Reynolds' class at Harvey Milk Civil Rights Academy in San Francisco, California. Our birthday shout-outs go to Hunter in Kansas City, Missouri, in Georgia, Julianne in Columbus, Serena in Atlanta, and Evelyn in Johns Creek. Rigby in Jerseyville, Illinois, David in Ludington, Michigan, Weston in McLean, Virginia, Addison in New London, Wisconsin, and Audrey in Hunts Point, Washington. Thanks for listening, everyone. It really helps us if you rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. We hope you tune in for more Kid News tomorrow morning.